Okay, welcome back. In this video we're going to have a look at plotting points in the number plane. Hopefully this will be quite a short video. So, to start off, what we mean by the number plane is, so like we've been talking about the number line, etc. like that. And the number plane is essentially, we're going to take another one of these number lines, rotate it sideways and overlap them at both where they both equal 0. So we've got positive in this direction and positive in that direction, negative and negative. So on the number line, that's essentially a one-dimensional space, and when we overlap two number lines we get a two-dimensional plane, and it allows us to put points in the plane, and the way we locate them or talk about them is we name each of these number lines as an axis. So the horizontal one is known as the x-axis, the vertical one is the y-axis, and when we have a point in the plane we describe it as, we write it in brackets with two numbers. The first number indicates how far we go either in the positive or negative direction on the x horizontal direction, and the y number is how many steps or spaces we jump either up or down in the y direction. The best way to remember this is x comes first and then y, so they put them in alphabetical order, which is really handy. I think the best thing to do is just to jump straight into the examples. So essentially, when we have two x and y numbers, these could be positive or negative. When they're written like this we call them coordinates. So an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So just as an example, let's say this point here would be 2 steps in the x direction and one step in the y direction, so both positive. So this point would be 2, 1. 2 steps in the x direction, 1 in the y direction. So we can also have negative values for these. And so what I'm going to do is I've photocopied the example out of the book just to save a bit of time. Let's get rid of this. So we've got 3 points on here, A, B and C, and they just essentially ask us to identify the coordinates of each of those points, and then we have 3 more points that they want us to add to this. So they give us the coordinates and we put the point on the graph. So we've got A, B and C. I'll just say at. So first of all, we'll just start with point A, which is over here. So where the two axes cross is usually at the 0 point. So we'll start here, and I'll just count the squares. We do have 5 and 10 marked, but that's just to sort of help us. So the A coordinate, the A point, is located at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the X direction, and then 2 up from the axes. So we go 8 steps in the X direction, comma, 2 steps in the Y direction. So 8, 2, that's usually how we refer to it, is that point there, A. Quite easy. I'm sure you've come across it before. So now point B is over here. So don't get confused. So we're going to be going in the negative direction. So let's just open our brackets. So point B is essentially 1 step in the negative X direction. So the X coordinate is -1, and then we come down 1, 2, 3, and we land on the point B. So that is -3 in the Y direction. So to the left of the Y axis is the negative X values, and below the X axis is the negative Y values. Our third point here, C. So let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the positive X direction, and then we're going to be going negative Y, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, comma, -7. So that's those first 3 points. So they also want us to add the points D, E, and F, and D at -3, 6. E is at 8, -1, and F is at -5, -1. Okay, so we're just going to be putting a dot, labeling it D at these particular coordinates. So just to find where we're going, -3 in the X direction, so that's this way, 1, 2, 3, that's -3, and then that's a +6 in the Y direction, so we're going to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so there is our point D. I hope that's not too small. Then we'll add point E, so we're going to be moving 8 in the positive direction, and then -1, so we'll be going down 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The same as A, so it's on this line somewhere, and then down 1. So our point E will be there. And finally, point F at -5, -1. So negative in both directions, we're going to be somewhere in this quarter of the plane. So we've already got -5 marked, so I'm not going to count along. And then we need to go down 1. So there is our point F. So essentially you just need to be careful what direction you're going. Is it positive or negative? X and Y. Y positive, Y negative. It's probably worth mentioning that when you are drawing these axes, always label the X-axis and the Y-axis And by convention, we put these little arrows on the end just to indicate that even though we only go to 10 in both directions, essentially it keeps going. It keeps going all the way up to positive infinity, negative infinity, and the same in the y direction. I think that's all I really need to say about points in the number plane. Alright, so we'll leave that one there. Hopefully that explains how to locate these coordinates. So just don't forget x, y, alphabetical order. X always comes first, then the y coordinate. So we go horizontally first, and then vertically. Okay, see you in the next video.